Coming up in this month's SITREP, we'll be focusing on remembrance. Remembrance is a time of year where our families feel very proud, but it can also be an extremely difficult and emotional time of year. So in this SITREP, we'll be sharing an insight into what Scotties will be doing to ensure that our beneficiaries don't feel alone. For most people, November means fireworks night and a step closer to Christmas, but for bereaved forces families, as soon as we move into the month of November, remembrance is at the forefront of our minds. For me personally, part of me is full of pride at this time of year, and the other part of me absolutely dreads it. Everyone's talking about it, it's everywhere you look, and it can bring back so many painful memories and emotions. Don't get me wrong though, I wouldn't want it any other way, and I'd be heartbroken if there was no more remembrance. I've actually recently recorded a special Remembrance podcast where I really open up and talk about what it means to a bereaved forces family when the whole country stops to remember and honour our heroes. And on the podcast, I'm joined by 3 of our Scotty members who were absolutely amazing and spoke with such passion and honesty about what remembrance means to them. I'd highly recommend having a listen. It's really moving, and I think to hear directly from bereaved forces children themselves and let their voices be heard is also very powerful. You know, often when we think about remembrance, we picture the older generation fighting in the Great War, but as Scotties we see every day that young modern families are impacted by the death of a parent who has served our country. Now, of course, it's extremely important to remember our brave heroes from World War I and II, but let's get people thinking about our younger generation who are impacted, just like Lily, Ben and Sebastian, and those guys do a great job in explaining that in the podcast. This year, Scotties has been reaching out early to our members and springboarders to reassure them that we're here for them. We've created a letter that parents and carers are able to give to their child's school. The letter shares an insight into how a bereaved forces child may be feeling at this time of year, and it also provides some tips and guidance on how schools can support our members through remembrance. We've also started hosting our virtual drop-in sessions. Some of these are in the lead up to remembrance and some are planned for just after. The sessions are all aimed at offering our children and young people the opportunity to have a safe space to chat to others who understand, and also ask our team for any tips and coping skills. Another way Scotties reassures them is by sending them all a meal voucher. The vouchers are a great way of encouraging families to have some time out together and chat about their loved one. I can't express how important it is for children and young people to know that they're not alone at this emotional time of year. We also acknowledge that sometimes it's hard to know what to actually do on the day itself. So Scotties have also created a poster with some really great ideas of different ways to remember, just in case any of our families are struggling to know what to do on this Remembrance Day. I will admit that in the past, I've spent many Remembrance Sundays at home just alone with my children because I didn't feel ready to face a public remembrance. We wanted to just be together and remember our hero and pay our respects in our own way. And I've actually learnt that over the years, remembrance is such an emotional time for bereaved forces families that it is important to remember in your own way and at your own pace. This year, however, I will be taking part in a very public remembrance, and I'll be marching in the National Remembrance Parade at Whitehall in London. I know when I walk past the cenotaph with my daughter Brooke and 44 other Scotty members and springboarders, I will do so with such pride. I know I'll have Lee and all our brave fallen heroes in my thoughts, and I feel extremely honoured and privileged to be able to take part. We'll all be wearing our Scotties black and yellow scarves, so if you do watch Remembrance Day coverage on the TV or you're there on the day, please look out for us and show us your support. One last thing I wanted to say just before I sign off is I wanted to ask if you'd all do one thing for me this Remembrance. If you've gone and you've listened to the podcast, you would have heard the members themselves speak about how important it is for them to see the great British public stop and pay their respects. So this year, when you do stop to do your 2-minute silence, please think about who may be near you. That 8-year-old little girl standing opposite you could be a bereaved forces child. That 17-year-old lad next to you could be a bereaved forces young person. That 20-year-old girl behind you could be a bereaved forces young adult whose mum or dad died when she was 7 and she's still grieving. Imagine the impact on a bereaved forces child if no one stood and remembered at 11 o'clock on the 11th of November.